What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. And today we're talking about how to stop wasting your time and procrastinating your life away. And this is not going to be just another motivational video. We're really going to talk about why it's so hard to start, why you get overwhelmed, how you can overcome all of this, put it into action, all the knowledge that you already have on this topic. And most importantly, we're going to talk about how you don't stress out, how this is not something that has anything to do with willpower, but with actually improving certain little things in our life. And this is why we're gonna narrow it down to 5 steps we're gonna talk about that you can implement starting now that will change your life forever, that will help you to really make big progress, not just in mundane everyday things, but in the things that really matter. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to know more about creating an epic life on your terms, check out the webinar. The link is in the description. And if you want to work with me privately and really tackle the specific topics in your life, also check out the link on one-on-one coaching. You find the link below as well. So let's start with step number 1, which is desire versus duty. And this is something actually that was submitted to me through my community tab, so thank you very much. But I really believe this is something we all struggle with. And that is the thing that we actually prioritize what will make our life better in front of what other people want from us. So it doesn't matter if it's a family member, if it's your friends, if it's your coworker, your boss, no matter what, we always tend to prioritize what other people want from us more than we prioritize what we want ourselves. And this is actually something that we have learned throughout our life, that duty is important, that whatever other people want from us is going to be more important than what we want for ourselves. And I've seen this so often where, for example, it's Saturday morning and I set out, today I'm gonna work on my book. This is really important to me. I wanna work on my business and I wanna make this happen. And then one of your friends calls up and says, oh, I really wanna hang out today and I wanna have fun with you. We haven't seen each other for so long. What are a lot of people going to do? They're gonna say, okay, I'm actually gonna hang out with my friends. And I've seen this over and over again, and it's really one of those things where we actually do this not so much because we want to hang out with our friends, but because they are asking it, and we don't want to be the ones who tell them, no, I'd rather work on my business. How often have you been in situations where you have that one friend that always likes to work out and they always prioritize it, and then you say, come on, let's go out tonight, and they don't, because at this hour of this time they're really gonna work out, and this is not something they're gonna negotiate on. That's actually a good thing, because guess what? There are a lot of ways where you can show up for others while maintaining your integrity towards the things that are important to you. So it's not so much about, oh, I want to do this thing for me, but I have this duty towards others. What you'll actually see, that it's even the other way around, that actually what you want to do in that moment, what your emotion tells you, is that you should do what the other person wants from you. Somebody wants a favor, somebody wants you to help them with their move, somebody wants you to be an open ear to their problems. What are you gonna do? What is your feeling gonna tell you? Most of the time your feeling will tell you, let me do this. This is what feels right. I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be judged by the other one. And how bad of a friend would I be if I don't show up for them? But you know what you're doing in this moment? You're actually neglecting your duty. You're neglecting your duty of being there for you. And this is really something we have to work on, because you cannot expect that your emotion will tell you that doing something for yourself is going to feel great rather than helping somebody else or doing something what other people expect of you, because this is not how you've trained your mind. Nowadays, I know much more what is important to me, what is a non-negotiable, and it feels great, it feels right, but that's not how it's going to be in the beginning. So in the beginning, you have to actually be strict with yourself and say, there are certain duties that I have to attain to because I'm the other person I'm obligated to. I'm the person that I have to feel responsible for, because your emotion will not tell you the right thing to do here. So make it a point that from now on, you're going to be the one who has the first priority in your life, that this is a duty that you have to stick to. And yes, you have situations where friends are asking you for something, but this is always a subjective matter. I have people in my life who are always there for others, and I mean in the most emotional way. People call them when they have the biggest problem, but you know what? When you take on so much of others, even emotionally, you don't have the strength to focus on what is yours. You don't have the the strength to put the emotionality that you need in order to move forward into your own life, because you believe it's the right thing to do to actually give it to others. But you have to remember, you won't be able to help others without sacrificing yourself if you keep on going this direction. You have to put yourself first, because that will ensure that you're actually the best friend towards others. That will mean that for a certain period of time, you have to actually say no to people. You have to say, I'm not going to be there as much as I have been, because my duties have to actually focus me first before I can focus on anything else. And that is something that has to be engraved in your mind. And there's no way you're going to have a different opinion about this. And if you get triggered by me saying that, if you feel bad about it, if you feel, oh, this doesn't feel like the right thing to do, one more reason why you should do it, because that tells you again that your emotion is misleading you. Because let's take emotion out of the picture here. What is the rational thing here? The rational thing is that you need to fill up your own cup. You need to make sure that you're giving yourself enough energy so your cup is overflowing. And then you have a situation where you're giving without expecting anything back, where you can give and you still have enough energy to grow yourself and help even more. You will not have enough energy, not for you, not for others, if you don't prioritize yourself first. So that's the first step. The second step is that you have to focus on one thing. I am a huge fan of vision boards, right? And I really encourage you to do this. This is not just a video where you're supposed to watch it and then everything else will be fine afterwards. This will not be enough. I can give you the information, I can give you the key, but you have to be the one going through the door. So really create a vision board, or if you don't like vision boards, then do something where you write it down, but like write down all the things you want and then focus on one thing. So I don't want you to go out of this and say, okay, now I want to get healthy, I want to get really fit, I want to work on my business, I want to find a better job, and I'm going to look for a life partner. You go into your life expecting to be able to do improvements in all of those areas, and you will fail, definitely, because our mind cannot handle it, specifically when all of those things are new. It's hard enough to have progress. It's hard enough to have improvement by only focusing on one thing. It takes so much energy, specifically in the beginning, to get the ball rolling. You've heard me talk about the metaphor that a plane needs over 40% of its entire fuel just to take off. And that's how it's going to be with you. And so I really encourage you to say, now I'm going to start with this one aspect. And only when you've reached a point where you feel like, oh, I can handle this, I'm really going and doing this without it being much effort on my part, then you take on the next step. So let's say you say one of the things you want to do is you want to get a better job. Then if this is the one thing you want to start with, I really encourage you to start and say, I'm going to start writing 2 applications a week, and I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to stick to that, because guess what? Your mind will not want this. This is something that gets your mind out of its comfort zone. Your comfort zone is, oh, I'm good where I'm at. I don't need to actually try out for something new. I have to get to a point where, from a mindset, I have to be okay with daring to do something new, not knowing what's gonna happen. I don't have the security there. That is a mental thing. It's not about finding 2 hours a week where you can do your applications and then you have like so much more hours left of the day where you can focus on creating a new relationship, working on your business. You're also going to work out 5 times a week. That's not how our mind works. What is the most difficult for us and what we have to tackle, what will make the biggest difference in your life, if you understand that from a mindset point, you cannot take on so much because it overwhelms our mind. Do you feel stressed out? Do you feel like even depressed sometimes because you can't make any progress in your dreams? Then this is definitely one of the things that's keeping you from this. You might feel like there's a problem with you or something's wrong with you. Why can everybody else achieve so much in their life and I can't? I'm stuck here. No. Everybody's like this. You will not meet one person who can take on that much from the beginning point. I'm not saying that you can't get to a point where you can make progress in so many of those areas, but it takes time. It takes time and it takes a specific strategy to get there. So who do you rather want to be? Do you want to be somebody who tries out to do all of those things for a week or 2 and then you crash and burn? Or do you want to be somebody who admits to yourself, well, this is where I'm at and I have to focus on one thing. I'm going to have all of those things on my vision board. I know what I want in the long term, but what I'm specifically going to focus on is this one thing. And then when you get to a point where it's really easy for you to write those 2 applications a week. So I'm not saying you can start working on your business once you have that new job necessarily, or you can start wondering about your relationship only once your business is successful. None of that. What I'm saying is that you've created a pattern, that you've created a habit that works on autopilot without any willpower required. That is the time where you can step up to the next game. So let's look at the example of finding a new job. If you start writing 2 applications a week, and it might take 3 months, who knows? You don't know how long it takes. It might get really quickly, but it might take half a year. But if you know that you're making progress in this, and this is something that you do by the 3rd, 4th week, like it's nothing. You wake up, you do it, it's done, and then you start off your day. This is where we want to get to. If you get to this point, that is the moment you say, okay, now I can take on the next thing. So remember, do the vision board, write down a list of all the things you want to do, but focus on one thing. And don't take on more until you've actually mastered this. So the process of doing it, the process of actually being there and doing the steps that are necessary for you to get to the next level. Step number 3, prioritize the things that are important over the things that are urgent. So of course there are things we have in our life that are important and urgent. For example, it is to pay our rent. That is something that is important and is urgent. But there are things in our life that are neither of those. So for example, if you spend hours every day surfing through the internet, if you spend hours of the day looking at online shopping sites, none of this is important or urgent. But this thing is really rather hard to tackle because those are the things that actually we will get rid of once we focus on the middle part. So the middle part, I mean prioritizing the things that are important and not urgent over the things that are urgent but not important. If you focus on this area, you will see how automatically you will start doing less of the things that are not important and not urgent because you see progress in your life and it excites you so much that you don't want to spend so much time over here doing things that won't help you, because over here you get an instant gratification. You get something that makes you feel amazing. So let me give you an example I use very often. So let's say you want to work on your business and you've said on Saturdays I'm working on my business. But then Saturday comes and what do you have to do? You have to do your laundry, then you have to go to the postal office. You have to actually call your mom because you promised you're gonna call her. And you need to clean your house. Those are things that are urgent, but they're not really important because they won't help you to improve your life. They won't help you to make a leap forward. But for example, working on your business is something that will actually bring improvement into your life. It will actually catapult your life to the next level. And what do most people do come Saturday? They say, I have to clean the house first, then I actually have to go to the postal office, and the list goes on and on. Actually, I also have to do grocery shopping. And before you know it, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you feel like you have the strength and the capacity and the motivation to actually sit down and work on your business? Probably not. Specifically not because your life is not really going to change right away. You're not going to have any kind of pain you're going to feel because you're not working on your business. Nobody's going to shun you. Nobody's going to make you feel bad. It's just something you can lay off to the side and then nothing's going to happen. But if you show up Monday morning with dirty clothes, people are going to say something. You're going to feel that. You're going to have a certain kind of obligation towards yourself to do these things because people will notice. You will notice. There's a pain you will feel. Those things are the urgent ones. So what are you going to do? How are you going to make a difference? Well, you're going to start your day off with the things that are important. Because you know what's going to happen? If you start working in the morning at 9 o'clock on your business, by 11 o'clock, you've made enough progress that you feel you had a successful day. It gives you a great feeling. And afterwards, you're still going to feel like, oh, I have to do the laundry. I have to go to the postal office and I have to call my mom. But you'll still do it because it's urgent, because those things are actually in your mind. So don't listen to your initial feeling. This is where you need a little bit of self-control. This is where you actually need to push yourself. And this is why it's so important not to put too many things on your plate, because this is hard. Like most people actually think, I don't know why this is so hard for me. Like I just have like those 3 things I want to do, because it is. Because this is how our mind works. Because if you expect too much of yourself, you're not gonna make it. And you know why most people people don't make that step because they have an ego problem at this. And this is completely normal as well. If we feel we're not good enough, we can't admit to ourselves that we can't even handle that little thing that we already think we should be able to make. But that is completely subjective, and that is the thing that keeps you from actually moving on. Stop expecting so much of yourself. It's way too much. If you think, oh, but this is this little thing. If I'm not even able to do this, then I'm a complete loser. No, you're not. This has nothing to do with you. This is how our mind works. This is how we are structured as human beings. If you wouldn't work like this, that would be a problem. You just have to admit that to yourself and make it not mean anything, because it doesn't. Everybody of us who's able to achieve so much and make progress in so many areas has done it because we were able and willing to admit to ourselves where we're at right now and what the next step will be that will push ourselves a little bit out of our comfort zone. Prioritize the things that are important over the things that are urgent. Make sure that you don't take too much. Best thing is to focus on one thing until this becomes a habit before you tackle the third one. And make sure that you prioritize what is most important to you first, because that will ensure that you can help others much more than you can help them if you focus on them first. That's when we get to step number 4, and that is to focus on improvement and not on goals. This is one of the things that actually changed my life the most, I would say, and it's really difficult sometimes to make people believe it or make people understand it, but you will make the biggest progress in your life if you stop focusing on one particular thing, as in, I'm gonna be successful once I've reached that, and every step before that, I'm not gonna be a success. The thing that will make the biggest difference in this mindset shift is if you tell yourself, oh, okay, so I have, let's say, 100 steps before my book is ready, or I have 100 steps before I get that dream job. You know what's gonna be the best and most important step to take? The first one, not the last one, and every step in between. It's about improving yourself. It's about becoming a person who can handle it. Like I say it so often, let's say nowadays everybody would be given the same opportunities, the same money, the same circumstances. It'll probably take half a year before everything is back to the way it was, maybe on different scales, but people who are successful before that will be successful again. And people who struggle to make like an improvement in their life will have the same situations or even self-sabotage themselves. You know why? Because it's not about what we have achieved so far, it's about who we become. You become a person who can handle it. The person I was 5 years ago couldn't do what I do today. And that is not because now I have so many more subscribers, I have so many more clients. It's because I have become somebody who can handle it. I have become somebody who dares to make bigger steps. And that is what you should focus on. If your main goal is on improving yourself and it's not about the end result, you will see amazing things shift and you'll see how you start feeling successful from day one. Because every one of those steps that will help you to get to that job is just as important as the last one. And that will help you to feel great about yourself. That will make you feel like you're making progress. You'll get a gratification that you're giving yourself, and that will motivate you enough to make the next step. So when you're, for example, applying for jobs and it's so hard for you to just write your CV or your motivation letter, then get excited about making little progresses there. Get excited about being able to write one more paragraph. Be grateful and happy and proud of yourself that you were able to send off an application this month, and don't beat yourself up that you were supposed to do 2 every week. Because if you get excited and happy and proud about sending out this one application this month, you're much more likely to get to a point where you can send out 2 applications a month, and then 2 applications in a matter of 10 days, and then you'll be able to send out 2 applications a week. And with that, you'll know more and more what you want, and your application process will be that much smoother and that much better. But if you say, I don't dare to make that step because I'm not somebody who can make this great application and will get my dream job, you will never be able to move forward. Focus on improving yourself rather than making the step. And so nowadays, I get so much more excited every time I take on a new task and I was able to overcome the biggest hurdle mentally. Then this thing makes me so much more proud and happy and excited about the next step than doing the last little thing that'll get me the thing I want. That is what will change your life. Start focusing on this and you'll see amazing improvements in your life. And remember, we overestimate what we can do in a week or a month, and we underestimate what we can do do in a year. The new year is about to start. It's a perfect time to use now December as a time of planning, of making it a priority in your life, and then saying, I'm gonna tackle this and I'm gonna start small because I wanna make more progress this year than I was able to do last year. And don't put too much on your plate because that will ensure that you won't be able to make a progress, that you won't be able to make the big shifts in your life. You're perfectly fine with taking this one little thing on, and you'll see how everything else will change automatically. And that's when we get to the last step number 5, and that is get help. Get somebody you can be accountable to. So I'm either talking about an accountability partner, you can get a coach, you can join a mastermind, it doesn't matter. But we all are human beings who feel more responsible towards others than towards ourselves. So why make it difficult for yourself? If you want to lose weight, if you want to get healthy, why have chips in your house? Why have all of those things that actually make it easy for you to fall off the wagon? Why not make it as easy as possible and help yourself? That is actually something that successful people do because they know this is not about me proving to myself that I have all this willpower, that I have all of those junk food around me, and I'm just gonna say no. That is the thing that's gonna keep us from making it to the end point. We don't need these things. We don't need things that make it harder. We need to make the things as easy as possible because this is not an ego game. This is not about proving to yourself that you can make it despite all of those bad things going on. So since we feel more accountable towards other people than ourselves, this is how we're structured. Why make it so hard on ourselves? Just get somebody that you can be accountable to. You can do that with a friend that you say, okay, now the new year starts. What is the thing we both want? And how are we gonna actually make sure that the other person is an accountability partner to me and I'm accountability partner to them? So I'm gonna check on them once a week and I'm gonna ask them how this thing is going. I'm gonna make sure that they really make progress in this and they do the same thing for me. If you both struggle with this, then this might not be the perfect choice, but it's definitely a better choice than just keeping it to yourself. And if you want to go a step further, find a mastermind or find a coach, a mentor, somebody that you can be accountable to, somebody who keeps you on your toes and who's done the things you want to achieve, who's been there, who's gone through the process, somebody who's a little bit more ahead of you in the game you're playing, in the place you want to go, in being the person you want to be. Because that way you first off see how they're doing it. They're kind of like holding up the standard here and they say you can do it too. Because the way that person looks at you is in a way of, I know you can do more. I know you can push yourself. And that person will know exactly what is too much and what isn't because they have done it themselves. So if you want to have some coaching with me, for example, this is the time and place, check out the link on the description. But there are other ways as well if you're saying, I'm not ready for that step. Find a mastermind, go talk to a friend. Whatever you can do that is better than just doing it by yourself will be the big thing that will change your life. Make sure to sign up for the webinar if you haven't already, because that will definitely help you in getting that procrastination out of the way and achieving everything you want in your life. And if you want to watch another video of mine, definitely watch the video on how to simplify your life, because there we really focus on the most important things that will make the difference in your life. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.